Hi, I'm Davis, and welcome to a special edition of Quick Bytes, our first impression review series here on Game Grazers. Rather than only going through one game today, we're taking a look at all the featured games in the Humble Indie Bundle 17. Man, I love me some Humble Bundles, both for the games they provide and the charities they support. I already owned one of these games, so these new titles push my total Steam collection to 329 games. So, in order to keep up with the Steam Checklist Challenge, we're playing each one a tiny bit and then giving them a quick review. The reviews won't go as in-depth as a normal Quick Bytes review, but we will have a broad overview of each game and what I thought. The video is divided into two parts. The first one will cover the initial offerings, and another video will come later that goes over the additional offerings that they make later on. So let's dive in with the Pay What You Want tier, starting with Lethal League. I played this one for about 8 minutes. If I had to pitch this game in 3 words, they would be Super Smash Pong! It is a different style of fighting game, but provides the sort of wacky, high-octane, 4-way fight you've come to expect from Smash Bros. You control one of up to 4 characters and whack a ball around the arena in hopes of having it be your color, and then have it hit the other fighters and knock them off screen. The character designs are fun and interesting, and the simple aesthetic is fun and charming and fits the tone of the game rather well. All around a nice package and a fun time. I wish I had actual people here to play with me when I tried it out. There doesn't seem to be much meat to the game, but that's to its advantage. As far as the grazing scale goes, I'd say this is solid chew. Coming up next is The Beginner's Guide. I spent about 15 minutes on this one. It's a walking simulator that takes you through the supposed history of bizarre games made by someone named Coda. You're guided by a narrator who explains the meaning and discovery for each game. It's charming in its own right and an interesting narrative that I wanted to continue to see how it unfolded, but the game offers nothing substantial other than the narrative. If that's your bag, that's great, but for me, it's something that doesn't hold my interest for long stretches. But I'll likely to return to see how things unfold. For the grazing scale, I'd call that a nibble. For the last of the Name Your Price games, we'll take a look at GALAK-Z. Time here was about 20 minutes. Now this game is cool. The classic overhead 2D style is really well done. The controls take a bit of getting used to, but it provides a proper kind of floaty space feeling where Newton's laws are namely your enemy. Combat can be fun and exciting, but most of all, I love the 1980s sci-fi anime space opera aesthetic they've got going on here. It makes the tone have both a serious edge and a light-hearted feel. Also, that VHS pause effect they have on the pause menus is a great touch as well. For the grazing scale, I'd say this game is one I could potentially devour. Now let's take a look at the Beat the Average tier games, starting with Lovers in a Dangerous Spacetime. I spent about 13 minutes in here. This game is also a 2D shooter with a charming aesthetic and great core mechanic. Ultimately, it's a multitasking challenge. You control a ship and have various controls you need to use in order to navigate the ship, shoot baddies, and defend yourself. While the game is meant to have more than one player to help you control the ship, the CPU buddy they provide is easy to control and helpful, and it's easy to use and provided its own challenge to the multitasking part of the game. It's certainly an interesting concept that I'd love to revisit once I get more hands in the house. For a grazing scale, I'd say a chew is where I'd be. Next up, Octodad, Deadliest catch. This is the one game I already owned, but had never played, so it'll also tally up the Steam Checklist Challenge. I put about 16 minutes into this one. I'd never really played one of those frustrating control games other than QWOP before, and it's at least a fun diversion for a moment. At least Octodad places it in the cute shell with a reason for being so awkward. The humor is pretty silly and enjoyable, and the sheer chaos you can cause is a joy. While I may only enjoy the frustrating controls for a short time, the challenges presented aren't overly crazy and can be fun to tackle. Overall, this is another solid chew for me at least, but it could border on devour after I spend some more time with it. Next up is Super Time Force Ultra. I spent about 5 minutes in this game, but that's only because time travel is confusing and awesome like this game. It was really 20 minutes. Most of that was in the tutorial, but after the first level I was sold on this confusing, time manipulating, action shooty gamey thingy. It has a bizarre sense of humor and an even more bizarre premise where you have a time limit to finish a level, but you can manipulate time by rewinding at any time, but especially when you die, respawning yourself, or having other team members on hand to help complete challenges and blow up evil bad bots. It's goofy, absurd, challenging, and a different kind of mechanic that I really enjoy. And then having the level replay be in real time so you can see all the zaniness is a great touch. This one scores a devour out of me. And lastly, the $10 game, Nuclear Throne. I played this one for about 6 minutes. It's a high-action, crazy top-down shooter roguelike. It's insane, it's fast, it's strange, but I liked it. Pixar is the go-to in indie games, and here is no exception. While these kind of games aren't really my cup of tea, I did enjoy what I had going on. You had to deal with heavy chaos by attacking foes, being able to carry 2 weapons, and just keeping your wits about you. I didn't get far or play for long just owing to this not being my kind of game, but I'd still give it a nibble rating, but roguelike fans should at least have a chew on it. That wraps it up for part 1 of this humble Quick Bytes special. Part 2 will be out once I have the next batch of games in the bundle. So if you want to know when that comes out, I'd recommend chewing on that subscribe button to keep up to date with everything we've got going on here at the Game Grazers. Until then, ciao.